volume. We could blow this place apart if we wanted to. The speed, the intensity.
Sticking your finger in a socket, you know?
Punk is whatever you want to make it.
Punk rock is definitely about breaking
I want to smash furniture.
I want to shake the truth out of you.
The attitude was generated by the music.
We're blind punks and we'll die tough.
If you're miserable enough to watch and listen to this report on punk, you, because I'm a punk rocker.
It was angry, chaotic, and rebellious, stripped down, offensive, and sometimes violent. It was an anti-movement.
It's kind of an instinctual reaction to the things that oppress you.
A rock revolution begun the old-fashioned way. With blood, spit, guts, and loud, fast songs and guitars some could barely play.
How much did you guys rehearse for this show?
Nothing at all. We haven't played in a month.
Punk started as an attack on the soft and sensitive hippie culture.
All those hippies.
Only people you could rely on were your other punk friends, and everyone else could just like...
And it turned into an all-out audio assault on overproduced corporate rock of the 70s.
Toto and Kansas and Foreigner and all that crap.
Quarter century after the Ramones released their earth-shaking debut album.
Well, we're playing this as modern. It is the future of rock and roll.
The punk tradition lives on. VH1 and Spin magazine look back at the power, freedom, and legacy of the punk rock revolution. Next on VH1 All Access, 25 years of punk. In the late 60s, many young people in America still believed peace and love could solve the world's problems. Not everybody was buying it.
We made lousy hippies, you know, we liked cheeseburgers, we liked TV. We didn't like earth shoes and bell-bottoms.
The whole music part of the hippie thing was this overindulgence.
The hippies ruined everything.
In a dark corner of Manhattan's Lower East Side, things were changing. The Velvets were writing songs about previously taboo topics.
It's amazing to think, at the same time that the Beatles are singing I Want to Hold Your Hand, the Velvets come out with Heroin.
Lou Reed wrote a song about heroin that's as beautiful as any love song ever written.
I think they were one of the first bands to actually say, hey, why don't we put adult themes in rock and roll?
I think that the Velvet Underground probably started it off by creating the notion of underground rock music.
In Detroit, a band of unemployed working-class kids had their own brash reaction to flower power. The MC5 mixed left-wing politics with a down-and-dirty brand of rock. They ripped through a controversial set outside the 1968 Democratic Convention.
The MC5 was the only band to go there and perform. We knew that there was going to be a riot. We played for a lot of riots.
They were the band that said rock should be not just wild, but revolutionary.
MC5 was smoke a lot of junk in the streets, anarchy.
Stooges on ABS.
Another group of streetwise delinquents from the Motor City, Iggy Pop and his band, the Stooges, took rock performance to chaotic extremes.
So like I say to you, kiss my ass. Here's my ass. Come and kiss it.
Their savage, unpredictable shows brought madness and mayhem center stage and out into the crowd.
The Stooges are probably the most responsible for creating a sense of sort of punk's wildness and rolling around on the floor on glass.
You suck dog turds. Kiss my butt.
Certainly Iggy started the ball rolling that killed the 60s. It was the furthest thing from what the 60s hippie sensibility was.
Go read a book and flunk a test, you.
It was just this flat-out
violent, sexual, genius band. They did not treat the music kindly.
I got cut, and I didn't notice it. I just kept singing along, and the more I sang, the more I moved, the more the blood pumped, and I looked down, and I was covered in blood. And,
Whatever Iggy did, he'd fall off the stage and break his neck, and the band never stopped playing.
Defiant rock and roll was catching on. Dressed in high heels and lipstick, the N.Y.Dolls began strutting the city's downtown streets in 1971. They couldn't play, but they sure looked good.
It was a new thing for men to be making themselves look so gorgeous. You know, hippies that kind of let everything kind of grow out and be natural, but the Dolls kind of styled their hair and wore makeup.
They were kind of like these tough kids that were dressed in drag. I always thought that that was the most unique thing about them, was that they never came off as being feminine.
We got something to say, which is, anybody who's on this day can get honey, because we're out here bugging every night.
They were almost musically the band that never got out of the garage.
I suddenly realized they're so bad, they're really good at being bad.
Well, you know, the Dolls, we like to think that we single-handedly lowered the standards of the entire industry. Bands saw them, and they said, oh, hey, it can be done. Well, people love them, and they stayed.
Inspired by the Dolls, a budding underground movement began to emerge at clubs like Mercer Arts Center, Electric Circus, and Max's Kansas City.
It's the place to be. Every night's a happy Marlowe day.
When we started playing, like, there wasn't really a lot of clubs to play and stuff like that. You know, we had to really open them up practically.
The New York Dolls are kicking it.
The Dolls had their sort of moving party that went, you know, to all their shows, and it grew from that.
It was like an alternative